Every year, Onewater, UNESCO World Water Assessment Program, and the Arts Coalition for Water run an international photo story contest. The contest reflects the theme of this year UN WWDR, Water for Prosperity and Peace. Today we have three of the main organizers from UN Water to talk about the power of visual storytelling for water action. And they said, imagine a world where water connects, not just as a resource, but as a shared narrative. So Onewater helps build this world by telling the story that often gets lost in the scroll. And now I'm very pleased to introduce you Veronica Reillano, Eliana Harrigan, and Christian Fischer. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Here's our beautiful blue planet, our canvas for life. And it is water that paints the story of our survival and our well-being. But is this story, our story, endangered?
Around the world, millions of people still do not have access to clean water and sanitation services. And the number of people living through this crisis is rising.
The effects of climate change are everywhere. Rain floods, temperatures rise, and lakes vanish. Our Earth is in pain. And seeing as humanity is as an extension of planet Earth, we're also in pain.
Our beautiful coasts, the connection between land and sea, they are filled with life, but they also face a wave of challenges. Sea level rise, coastal flooding, pollution, and poor management practices put these regions at risk.
As a young girl, I always knew that I wanted to help nature. So being able to speak on this stage about water to you right now is an honor. But too many girls around the world face too many barriers to their dreams. And one of those barriers is something completely natural, their period. In many places, social stigma, a lack of sanitary products, and inadequate school facilities means that being on your period often leads to missing school. Each and every single day that is missed because of a period is a lost step in the journey towards gender equality. This isn't about missed lessons. This is about lost opportunities. This is about diminished dreams. This is about a large proportion of the world's population being held back from life just because of a biological process. Fortunately, solutions do exist, and their foundation is always dignity and empowerment. In Uganda, Search for Water leads the way. Young girls learn about menstruation while sitting under a mango tree, learning about their own nature whilst in nature. The program also provides scholarships to keep girls in school, builds safe sanitation facilities, and offers mentorship to build confidence and counter stigma. And the results are transformative. The girls stay in school consistently. They gain the confidence, the knowledge, and the skills to be able to shape their own futures. Because when we break down these barriers, and when we uplift a girl, we actually elevate entire communities. Every girl deserves an education, and every girl has the right to an education.
Imagine walking under a relentless sun, the earth is parched beneath your feet, whilst you're on a desperate journey in search for water. This stark reality is lived daily by many as droughts increasingly ravage lands across our planet. There are a million stories hidden in each of the red shapes here. Your communities, my community's story. Let's contrast two of them from different sides of the world. The man that you see in this picture, his name is Ali Omar. He's from Somalia. And he sits beside a plot of land that promised corn, but delivered dust. The impacts of droughts are inescapable. It is a relentless monster stealing life from land. Crops wither, livestock perish, and people suffer. Meanwhile, in Italy, a different story of drought unfolds. This is Antonio. He lives on a rice farm in the Po Valley, known as the rice basket of Europe. But just like Omar in Somalia, the area faces the threat of vanishing waters. Whilst drought knows no borders, responses to it vary. In Italy, innovation allows for drought-resistant crops to emerge from dedicated research, offering a blueprint for innovation and for resilience. But in Somalia, the hands of researchers are often tied, not for a lack of will, but for a lack of resources. Indeed, our world has many deep-rooted inequalities, many of which are deepened further by the ravages of climate change. For all nations gripped by drought's unforgiving hand, innovation, investment, and community support will be our keys to resilience. Drought will be a harsh reality, but it does not have to be an unbeatable one. So let's work together and learn from one another so that no community has to face drought by itself.
Our beautiful coasts, vibrant ecosystems pulsing with life. They are natural barriers against the fury of storms, but our shields are slowly crumbling beneath our feet. Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. Here there is a different story. A group of women called Las Chelemeras see no despair, but opportunity. They understand the power of mangroves, those incredible trees that thrive when land meets the sea. These trees are crucial protectors against storms, natural purifiers for pollution, and breeding grounds for marine life. But the problem is that they are rapidly vanishing. With their hands, they plant the seeds of the future. This group of 14 Mayan women, they restored the coastline, mangrove by mangrove. And this is not just about planting trees. They rebuild ecosystems, revitalize their economies, and increase their communities' resilience to climate change. This is a shining example of how local actions can create global impact. What would happen if every vulnerable coast will have champions like Antonia and Guadalupe? We must invest in nature-based solutions, but for this to work, we need to empower women as environmental leaders and understand and learn from those at the forefront of coastal protection. Like this, we can protect our coasts and build a brighter future for all.
What do all of these stories have in common? And how can we tell more inspiring stories for change and solutions?
The stories you've heard today, from Somalia to Mexico, all tell the lived experiences of global water challenges and solutions. They are a few threads woven into the intricate tapestry of water issues that are facing our planet.
Organizations like Onewater and UNESCO play an important role in telling the stories of real people from these complex and sometimes faraway landscapes.
nature alone does not inspire action. Our ancestors gathered around fires for stories, not statistics. It's through storytelling that we find meaning and can spark transformation. And that's what brings us together. Narratives and visuals, not pie charts.
Okay. And images to connect us.
The water story and the science behind it are barely taught in English, and even less so in other languages.
So how do we tell the story?
So here comes the magic of photography.
A picture captures an entire reality in a fleeting second. It tells a story that words often cannot describe. And it transcends language barriers and cultural divides, which makes it personal and inclusive.
Each image invites us into a moment, telling us a story that could take pages to describe. Now this is the visual storytelling that we need, a form of storytelling that brings the narrative of water to life.
And this is why every year Onewater, UNESCO's World Water Assessment Program, and the Arts Coalition for Water convene an international photo story contest. The themes of the contest align with each year's World Water Development Report. And that is also why we're here today.
Past themes include groundwater and partnerships, and this year's theme was peace and prosperity. Just this year, we received over 8,000 photos from over 90 countries.
Photography is not just art. It is a form of science communication. It is a snapshot of reality that brings global issues into sharp focus.
It's about showcasing perspectives and giving a voice to the unseen. These contests give personal stories a global platform.
The winning photographs then travel the world in an exhibition called the Walk of Water. They've been shown at the UN 2023 Water Conference and at the EU delegation in Washington, D.C. The Walk of Water acts as a messenger of the vital water stories that we need to share.
In fact, the Walk of Water exhibition is in this building right now. You can find the best photos of this year's photo contest in the room in front of us. They are not just images, they are conversations, they are understanding, and they are action.
They're also you. And as we draw this talk to a close, let's remember that knowledge alone does not inspire change. It's the heartfelt stories, yours, mine, our communities and our families, that are shared in ways that connect us. That is how we can kindle the spark of action.
Each and every one of us carries our own water story to share. It can be as extraordinary as leading a community project, or as ordinary as simply turning off the tap whilst brushing your teeth. Every action and every choice all become part of the global effort towards safely managed water and sanitation for all.
We need to write the next chapter together, and that's why we are excited to invite you to the next photo story contest.
There's ways for everyone to get involved. You can submit your story, tell your friends about it, come on board as a judge or even as a co-convener. And the theme is
your photos, your voices, have the power to inspire change.
Because a water wiser future is not just about data, conferences, and reports. They're all very, very important. But at the heart of all of our work in this room are the experiences and stories of each and every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dank.